Thank you for tuning in to a brand new episode of The Traditionalists. Enjoy the show, guys. Now here's Matthew.
Kamala Harris leads JD Vance in a hypothetical 2028 presidential election poll, according to SoCal Strategies. Kamala Harris, supposedly, this is what they tell you, has a 43 to 41 edge over Vance in 2028. The same people polled JD Vance against Gavin Newsom and Governor Shapiro, and Vance beats them both. Someone explain to me how and why this woman, who has lost every single election that she has ran other than the Senate race in California, is somehow, some way, the unbeatable candidate. She polls poorly. Public opinion on her is very poor. Her approval ratings are constantly in the gutter. And historians from both sides have ranked her as one of the worst vice presidents in American history. How is she beating Vance? How is she doing it? Are you telling me that she is a sharper, more polished, more experienced, more liked candidate than Shapiro or Newsom? Or is the media trying to tell you, with whatever desperation that they have left, that this Black, Indian, Jamaican, whatever she is, woman is supposed to be president of the United States? Is the machine doing everything that they can to put her into power? Would you doubt it? Joe Biden, after intentionally, in my opinion, falling asleep at the debate with Donald Trump, was somehow, some way excused aside, and everybody just pushed Kamala Harris into the nomination. Nobody voted for her. Nobody liked her. In an open primary, she would have gotten trounced as she has in the past when she ran for president some time ago in 2020. But they just guided her in. And the party that's supposed to be for democracy can't handle democracy. So you tell me, are these polls of Kamala Harris defeating JD Vance in 4 years, Trump hasn't even been inaugurated yet, and we're talking about 2028, are they real at all? He came across in his debate against Tim Walz as polished, as smart, as likable, as intellectual, as very well put together, as with it, as somebody who had a grasp on the world and its politics and its stage that is put before us. He seemed like he had it all together, and he mopped the floor with Walz. And he will do the same with Vance, or with Harris. People on the MAGA team need to realize, and I don't know why this is, but some acknowledge it, true, but Trump is not a good debater. He's just not. He rambles. He goes on to these rants that have nothing to do with what's being talked about. Yeah, and a lot of times he's witty and he's good at comebacks and he's great at one-liners, memorable one-liners too, which I think are an important factor in debates. But he's just not that good at debates. Vance put on a masterclass, and we all saw it unveil before our eyes. And he will do the same to Kamala Harris if it ever gets to that point. There is no way, absolutely no way. I don't care what the polls 4 years out say. There is no way that she outdoes a Shapiro, a Newsom, or even Whitmer in Michigan. So what are they trying to put in our heads that somehow, some way, Kamala Harris, who, again, is unlikable as they all come, is pretty stupid on top of it all, is the nominee? How often in past politics, I'm just thinking back a bit, how often has the so-called favorable candidate 4 years out actually gotten the nominee? Remember they told us it was going to be Giuliani, or it was going to be Condoleezza Rice, even though it was going to be Marco Rubio. These people never got close to the presidency. Is JD Vance the future of MAGA? Maybe. Is Vivek Ramaswamy the future of MAGA? Maybe. Or is there some candidate we might not even know of yet, or know all that much about, who's going to continue the helm, continue the mission, continue the vision that Donald Trump imposed on the Republican Party? And how does Kamala Harris, who knows what she's doing now for the next 4 years, can she separate herself from a disaster Biden presidency? I don't care what numbers you want to look at or what stats or what data you have before your eyes. Joe Biden was a terrible president. His record was terrible. His politics were terrible. And him as an individual couldn't have been more out of left field in terms of just natural talent and ability. He's shot. And we all know he's shot. And that's another topic for another day. But does anyone truly believe that Kamala Harris is going to defeat JD Vance in a 2028 presidential matchup? I think we have seen, and exit poll numbers have shown, there's been such a shift among voters that the Democrat Party is in serious trouble. Serious trouble. And putting somebody in there to carry on or continue the policies of Obama, Pelosi, Clinton, Biden, and the rest of them will not work. They have gone from being the party that was the party of the everyday American to being so out of touch and so living in an alternate reality that they lost grounds on every single demographic that they once hold. You'll look at a map as to where Biden won in 2020, air quotes, Biden won in 2020, and you'll look at where and how Kamala Harris improved, and there's not a speck on the map that has an area anywhere where she outdid him. Nowhere. She's a terrible candidate. She's always been a terrible candidate. And this mindset, this narration that they're throwing at us that, oh, she's the leader. Oh, she's the one. Oh, she's gonna win. We've heard it all before, and it's not gonna happen. Kamala Harris will never be president of the United States. And however the next 4 years play out, and I think in a lot of ways they'll be very strong for Donald Trump. However the next 4 years play out, you can rest assured the Democrat Party needs regrouping. The Republican Party / MAGA is strong. The vision is strong. The message is strong. The politics are very relatable. They resonate with the everyday American. That is new to the Republican Party. And in my opinion, it'll only go up from there. The Democrat Party needs some serious self-reflection, some deep digging, some deep thinking, and a lot of changes. Because the message they shoved down the throats of the everyday American was not being taken well. It was not being accepted. People didn't want to hear it, and rightfully so. We'll be back with more politics. Stay with us.
Don't you dare change that channel. We'll be back in just a few with more political analysis.
Headline: RFK Jr. wants to issue ban of drug ads from TV under Trump's presidency. Most prominently, Robert Kennedy Jr., Trump's pick for health secretary, who is a longtime outspoken critic of pharmaceutical ads on TV, has repeatedly called for a ban on these commercials, arguing that it grants the industry more favorable coverage from broadcasters and does not improve Americans' health. They're not making us healthier, he said of pharmaceutical products in an interview this year. In a true free market, if we're getting good information, we wouldn't be taking so many of them. I love this. I for the longest time, I have asked myself, why is it that when you want to watch a good, wholesome program or a football game, you've got to be subject to these ads talking about drugs and pills and medication and doctor's visits and symptoms and side effects time and time and time again? We are constantly fed these things. You all know what I'm talking about. You've seen them. You've got an earache? Take this pill, and it's going to cure your earache, but it's going to give you cancer. Your throat hurts? Take this pill, but you're going to start suffering from memory loss. Does anybody not notice that these ads have almost become so common that you tune them out like subliminal messaging? They're almost a part of our daily lives so much that we don't notice it. And I think Kennedy's right. What good has it done us? Where has it gotten us? What has it provided? How has it made Americans healthier? It hasn't. Americans are sicker, more overweight, more unhealthy than they've ever been before. With all of this so-called technology and medicine and science and doctors and medical teams, where have we improved? Like, man, I am rooting for him. I'm rooting for him. And I think he is one of the major reasons that I voted for Trump. Because I think even if he brings an awareness to a lot of people, even if he can't do it executively, he brings an awareness to a lot of people as to what they're putting in their bodies, what they're eating, and why and how things have changed. And the information that we were fed as a society in the 60s, 70s, and more prominently in the 80s was a lie. What they've taken from us, what they changed in our foods, and why things are the way they are in other countries, but not happening here. He has brought to light a lot of main issues and has brought to the table a lot of important topics that people are no longer afraid to speak about. And I hope he gets confirmed, and I think he will. I'm not sure how much longer we've got to wait for these confirmations, but he's great in my eyes. And I think, yeah, he can do a lot of other things a lot better. He could change a lot of his positions for the better. And I wish he would convert on a lot of issues for the better. But when he's talking about the food and the dye and the products we put in and out of our bodies, he is 100% right. And he has every right to be in this position. And he's going to face an uphill battle. And I think the American people who are on his side need to realize that. You are facing a powerful trillion-dollar machine who doesn't want to hear from you. That's not going to be an easy fight to win. And I think people, more importantly, those in government, need to be ready for a fight. Because it's not going to be clean. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be easy. There's a lot that has to get undone and unraveled and unveiled for the world to see. And it's not going to happen with roses and rainbows and unicorns. It just can't. It just can't. So the upcoming inauguration, confirmation hearings should be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot to talk about. I thank you for tuning into the pilot episode of Sunday Politics with Matt. Give us a bit of a learning curve with the graphics and the music and the audio. Still trying to piece it all together, but we wanted to get a product out for you to listen to at your convenience, and hopefully consider listening to our program in the near future. Thank you, and God bless.